Alrighty. What are the 3 or 4 classifications of angles?
Right angles, obtuse angle, and acute angle.
There you go. Alright. We've got right angles. Okay, everybody put your arms up. Right angles. And we've got acute little angles. That's how I remember, because they're cute. Because little things are cute, right? Because babies are cute, and bunnies are cute, and baby ducks are cute. And it's a little angle, so it's cute. Get it? Acute. And what's this one called?
Obtuse.
Obtuse. It's a fat angle. It's obtuse. Okay? And what's the 4th one? It looks like this. Go ahead.
Straight angle.
Straight angles. So those are your 4 types of angles. Put those in your notes. All right, let's write those so we know how to spell them. We've got right. We've got acute. We've got obtuse. And we've got straight. See if I can't find a black marker, make it a little easier to read. But I always like to think of Goldilocks and the 3 bears when it comes to angles. Because, you know, everything was either too hard or too soft or just right. Or too big or too small or just right. Angles are either little, big, or just right. Okay? So let's identify these based on their angles. If it is a right angle, guys, can we do me a favor? Can we get one more textbook and lift this up so that I actually have a head?
Yes.
Thank you. Alrighty. So if it's a right angle, what kind of measures is it?
90 degrees.
90 degrees. Exactly 90. 90 degrees. Okay? And if it's acute, there we go. Now I have a head again. Thank you. And if it's an acute angle, well, how many degrees is it?
40.
It could be 40.
45.
Less than
Could be 45.
Less than
Less than 90. So it's 89 to 0. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, all the way up to 89. Okay? So anything less than 90. Okay? Anything less than 90. And if it's an obtuse angle, what's its measurements?
Over 90.
What is it?
Over 90.
Over 90. Okay? Over 90 is how you say that, okay? Over 90. If you're going to put the word than in, you would say more than 90, not over than 90. So you could say more than 90, over 90, greater than 90. Any of those would be appropriate. Okay? And if it's a straight angle, what are its measurements?
180 degrees.
180 degrees. So the easy thing to remember with right is it looks like a corner. And anytime you see it on your paper, they're always going to have this little symbol. If it doesn't have that little symbol in there, it's an angle. Make this a little bigger so y'all can see in the back. Usually it's in red if it's color, like if it's in your textbook. If it's on like a STAR test or a tax test, it's black and white. But you'll see this little symbol in the angle. They'll put a little square. Okay? And in your textbook, it's almost always red. All right? That means it's 90 degrees. If it doesn't have that symbol, it's not 90 degrees. It could be 91, it could be 89, and still look 90. But without that symbol, it's not 90. Unless you yourself have taken a protractor and measured it. Okay? Either you measured it yourself, or it has that symbol, or it's not 90 degrees. Deal? Alrighty. Straight is just that. It's a straight line, and usually it has like a little dot in the middle. Okay? So you know where the center of the angle was. Okay? Acute, of course, is going to be a little one. And obtuse is going to be a fat one. Okay? Now, what you have to know is, anytime you have an angle, they're made with 2 Rays. What's a ray? You learned that yesterday. What's a ray? That was in your vocabulary. What's a ray?
It has one endpoint and extends in a straight path without end from that endpoint.
Perfect. It has one endpoint. So you can see on our angles, that endpoint is the corner. What's the corner of an angle called, or the corner of a shape called? We learned that on Friday. It starts with a V. Vertex. Vertices is more than one. We only have one, so it's a vertex. Say that with me. Vertex.
Vertex.
Vertex. Awesome. You don't have to worry. This one's not going on the web, okay? This one's just since I'm not going to be here this afternoon. Okay? Alrighty. Vertex. So that's our endpoint, and it extends out from that endpoint. Right? It's kind of like a ray of sunshine. That's how I remember what a ray is called. I think of the sun. It starts at the sun, and if you've ever looked like on a really bright sunny day, you could see the sunshine coming through the clouds. Has anybody ever seen that before?
Yeah.
Usually maybe right after the rainstorm, okay, you can see the sunshine, but you can't tell where they end. It's kind of like the end of the rainbow. You're never going to find Lucky's pot of gold. You just can't find the end of it. That's a ray. It continues on forever. On paper, it's shown with an arrow, okay? That's how you know that means it continues on forever. So an angle is formed with two rays, okay? And there's actually two angle measures to an angle. This is our most common one. That's what we usually think of, right? When we're going up here to measure an angle, is that what you think of? Yes. That's what you're going to measure right here, from here to here, yeah? From one ray to the other. But you can also measure, let me get another color. Actually, I'm going to make this a little bit bigger so the people in the back can see. Is that a little better? A little bigger? So normally you think about measuring from here to here. And that would be our angle. And that's normal. That's the typical angle, okay? 9 times out of 10, that's what they're asking you to do. But you can also measure an angle around the outside, okay? And today on your assignment, you're actually going to have to do both, okay? You have to know whether it's an interior angle or an exterior angle. Is it on the inside or is it on the outside? Okay? So let's practice. Okay? You have your assignment there in front of you. Okay? Find your paper. Looks like this. Find this paper. Alrighty. The very first angle is already done for you. It says it's 174 degrees. Okay? Now, the first problem I have with this worksheet is notice there are no centered dots, are there? You got to have a centered dot because in your protractor, there's a hole in the center of your protractor. Everybody find the hole in your protractor. Okay, it's at the bottom of your protractor. Find the hole. If you don't have a protractor, get up and get one now. Get up and get one now. If you don't have a protractor, they're in the student hub table. Okay? That hole is the perfect size for your pencil. Okay, your pencil fits in there. All right? So your first angle is already done for you. So let's look at number 2. Actually, I don't like number 2. Let's do number 6. Number 2 is kind of hard. Let's do number 6. So go across and we're going to do number 6. And I'm going to attempt to draw that angle. Can I borrow your paper? Yes. Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to call that close, but I'm going to bet it's not the same. And then it has a little loop-de-loop like that, yes? The first thing you want to do in all of your angles before you ever start measuring is find that point right there in the middle and give yourself a dot. You need something to start with, okay? I used to have a big giant wood protractor and I lost it. It's pretty cool. It's like this big. Alright, you're going to take a protractor. And if you look at your protractor, at the bottom you've got a ruler in inches. The bottom you've got a ruler in inches. Inside the loop you've got a ruler in millimeters and centimeters. Okay? Do y'all see that straight line across the middle? Then you've got angle measures going along the arch on the outside. Okay? You've got angle measurements going along the outside. We measure angles in degrees. So these are all degree measurements. You also have another set of degree measurements going along the inside. What do you notice about the numbers that go along the outside loop and along the inside loop when you compare those together?
The end of the 170 is on this side, but the other one's on the other side.
So they're going backwards. They are. The reason for that is you use the outside to measure a right angle, or one that starts on the right side, and you use the inside to measure one that starts on the left. It doesn't matter. They're exactly the same measurements. The only difference between using the outside and the inside depends on if you start over here or if you start over here. Okay? Do you have an angle going this direction? Or do you have an angle going that direction? Okay? They start in different places, don't they? They're going the opposite direction. Do you see that? Okay? So that's why you have to have the angle measures going from both sides. Now, whenever you start counting, do you start counting at 170 and go backwards?
No.
No. You start at 0, right? So make sure whenever you're measuring with your protractor, you always start at 0, whether that's on the left or that's on the right. Okay? It doesn't matter. Just make sure you're starting at 0 and you're starting with your angle. Okay? So, let's try this. You're going to take your angle, your protractor, and you're going to stick the dot on the dot of your angle and put your pencil in it to make sure it's really on that dot. Put your protractor on the angle and make sure your pencil is in that dot. Okay? And coming out from that hole, you have horizontal and vertical lines. Do you see those horizontal and vertical lines?
Yeah.
Now, twirl your protractor until that one of those horizontal lines is right in line with your angle. Okay? One side. It's only going to be in line with one of the rays, not both. So I'm using the bottom ray just because the angle I'm standing at. Also, continue twirling it until the line at the edge of your protractor is also in line with the ray. That's how you make sure your protractor is straight. Okay? I'll come around and help you in just a second. Okay? Then, wherever your line is, that's where you're going to start with 0. Well, looking at mine, this angle is on the right-hand side, so if I use the outside, I'm going to be starting at 170. Actually, it's 180. That number's not in there, but you see how the first number written on there is 170 on the outside? Well, I'm not going to start counting there, am I? What do we start counting with?
0.
0. So I'm going to use my inside measurements. So I'm going to go all the way around until this line, I see it's on 150. Okay? And I can tell my black line's going right through it. Okay? It's on 30 on the outside. Right? And it's on 150 on the inside. So let's think about this. If my protractor is drawn on here, Mega, does that look like a protractor? Yes. Sure. And it says on the outside that this angle is 30 degrees. And on the inside measurement, it says it's 150. Okay? Using our knowledge of angles, is this an obtuse angle? Or is this an acute little angle?
Obtuse.
It's obtuse. So if I already know it's obtuse, my measurement has to be over what?
90.
90. So is it reasonable for my angle to be 30 degrees?
No.
No, because it's 30 over 90? No, so then you'd be like, you bozo, you measured the wrong side of the protractor. Ugh, silly me. I better go back and fix it. Okay? Right? That's what that tells you. Okay? So if you're not sure which one to use, that's okay. Use both. No big deal. Okay? And write them both down. Look, I got 30 and 150. I wasn't sure to use the inside or the outside. Okay? But then I looked and said, you know what? I know this is a fat angle. Okay? It'd be really helpful if you weren't staring at everybody else's papers and y'all are actually paying attention up here. Because you're not going to learn by watching everybody else. Okay? Thank you. I put both numbers up here. Why is my answer not 30?
Because it's an obtuse angle and it's over 90.
Obtuse angle and it's over 90 because I can see it's a fat angle. Okay? So I know that it can't be 30, so it must be 150. All right, so now let's go around and measure yours, and then we'll answer our essential question.